stand up for that song. Because it's embarrassing.
We'll keep these flags up on stage. All our contestants here tonight that will introduce you going forward to the finals.
That was embarrassing. It's embarrassing. We had how many years? Move to Russia. Move to China. Go. No, not what. You can't stand up. Your legs don't work. No, it was embarrassing.
How about one more hand for all our youth up here? Tom Durden put it together. Big hand for Tom and the youth.
Six. And I'm yelling, stand up.
You never know how many guys are going to be.
I'm yelling to them, stand
And
up.
I think we're just going to keep this little one right here.
They all voted for.
They're communists.
How old are you?
That's disgusting that no one could stand up for the song. Are you kidding me? You can't get up on your feet. Oh, get the legs. Stand up. It's 4th of July.
It doesn't matter.
Really? It's 3. You play that song, you understand.
Once again, we have a cackle of Karens here. They don't understand the basics of freedom and democracy. Here's the reality. While they are upset and calling out people for not standing up for the national anthem at whatever facility they're located in. You see, freedom means, Karens, that you can stand or sit. You are not forced or mandated to do a particular thing in front of a particular flag. That's actually why the US military fights. That's part of the reason, is to make sure those freedoms are maintained domestically. You have the freedom to sit, stand, dance, sing, or not. When individuals are forced, Karen, to do those things, to pay homage to a flag in that way by way of mandate, then you have actually taken away a freedom. Freedom is freedom, regardless of your sentiment. Just because individuals are not a carbon copy of you, that does not mean they're not patriotic, democratic, nor does it mean they do not believe in freedom. All right, Ms. Khan, we find this quite normative with individuals on the right. And I assume they're on the right because they say, oh, this person must have voted for Joe Biden, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they get it. Freedom means you can stand or not stand. What are they missing here, Ms. Khan?
Well, I like that point that you actually brought up about the military, and that's why they fight, is for the option to stand or not stand. And my brother is actually in the Navy, and we had this conversation a little while ago, and I think we were talking about Kaepernick and the kneeling and all that whenever that was a really, really big story. And he said exactly what you said. He goes, no, I'm in the military fighting for that, like that's what the military is there for. That's what we're defending. When you talk about defending freedoms, you're defending the right to not have to do things that you don't agree with, or things that aren't hurting anybody, right? And as far as standing up for the national anthem, I don't like standing for it either. I mean, I do it, but for me personally, I think it's more irritating that I'm expected to stand. It's not mandatory. And really, it's an empty gesture that doesn't actually represent how much I love my country or its people. And that's such a ridiculous and small-minded way to think in the first place. But we still have to do the thing so that the same people won't say the same very predictable things about us. Like when Obama didn't wear remember when he didn't wear the flag pin on his lapel?
Right,
it was like such a big deal.
Right.
And they didn't talk about his politics because they just decided what this represented, the fact that he didn't have a pin on his lapel. It was so random, it was so unnecessary. The whole narrative was so performative. And it's been made to be a form of respect because somebody else decided that it was, and it's been made so culturally pervasive that we're having this conversation right now. But really, it's a distraction from what actually matters. And patriotism, at the risk of making a way too broad of a statement, is a tool used by the government and the media to pacify people into complacency and acceptance. Loving your home is one thing, but patriotism, the way that we're seeing it practiced here, that can get really toxic really fast.
Yeah, and what they call patriotism is anything but. You have to love your country enough to challenge your country to be the greatest country it can be. That's true love. Sometimes love is tough. but it doesn't mean it's not love as well. And let me just briefly say something about the Colin Kaepernick issue when he took that knee. That was the most peaceful of protests possible, okay? It had nothing to do with football. It was before the game. All of a sudden had everything to do with football. But let's be very clear. It's not about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee because many NFL players took a knee. How many quarterbacks took a knee to pray to white Jesus after they made a touchdown? Let's not get into taking a knee. Taking a knee was normative in the NFL. It was about what Colin Kaepernick took a knee for. Colin Kaepernick had the audacity to take a knee for black and brown people who were being brutalized by members of law enforcement. If Colin Kaepernick would have taken a knee to bring awareness to the need for more cancer research money in the United States of America, that never would have happened to Colin Kaepernick. He never would have been blacklisted, no pun intended. But it was because of who he took a knee for, all right?